starts with this, a person that you miss. Mine draws a blank. I wanna go back to the early days when life was an escape. Now I just wait for better days. I lost myself in your reality. Lost myself. I lost myself in your reality. Lost myself. I feel that life, according to a friend, we're all shrink wrapped in families and making ends meet, stuck in jobs we'll never leave. I never wanna be like that, so I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. Didn't mean to sound so concerned.
Where's my microphone?
Alone in the herd. I never followed anyone. It's so absurd. I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back.
Singing along to a song you know so well, the random song that the intro is, the random music that the intro is. Oh, we lost our chat. It immediately freaked out, and we'll have to refresh it so we can bring it back. There it is. Oh, the chat's back. Why does it say live in 41 minutes from now? I have no idea. I have no idea why it would say that. Because we're live now. So I don't know why it would say that. YouTube is borked. It's borked indeed. 100%. It's borked hard. It's borked super hard. We're back on our hydration diet. We're hydrating. Yeah, super chat for hydrates. Well, we have to continue to hydrate on the liquid diet. We out here on the liquid diet, getting fresh, only eating clear liquids for, I don't know, the next 48 hours, I believe, something like that. We're a day into it. We're into day one, or we're a day into it, however you put it. We got super chats here. Or no, we got gifted memberships. It's not a super chat, but we do have a caller. We have caller on line one.
Hello. How are you? I would like to talk about the topic of the day.
That was weird. The topic of the day is butt stuff. What's up? What's up? We're here to talk about butt stuff. Butt stuff today.
Who doesn't love butt stuff, baby?
Somebody.
Well,
Somebody
I mean,
doesn't.
you know,
I
medical
don't.
butt stuff, not so fun.
Yeah, we're here to talk about
Yeah.
your boy over here. We're going into the under the knife tomorrow, or under the laser, or whatever they use. Cameras and lasers, probably. We'll be knee deep in it tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
You have to sign all the
Oh,
waivers.
you'll
I have
be-
to sign all the waivers.
Yes. If
So
I
we'll
should,
see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the the current prognosis is not friendly. We'll see how tomorrow's prognosis comes through. We shall see.
is this your first colonoscopy?
That's none of your business.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah. What's with all the questions? Huh?
I'm just curious.
What's with all the questions? No, we did a bunch of testing, and so now they've got to go under the hood. So we'll see how it goes. They have some plans. They have plans. I'll let you know how it goes after the fact.
Yes,
They have some plans.
That's
They have plans. They have a strategy. They're going to attack, you know. They're gonna do stuff.
Okay.
They have plans. They go,
And some things.
oh, this screenings all look totally crazy. We're gonna find out what's going on. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the butt stuff. But yeah. So if anybody's like, why is he so grumpy today? Because I can't drink coffee or nothing. I can't drink coffee and I can't have any toast. How am I supposed to live through my day?
Only clear items, as I recall.
With no toast. What am I supposed to do with no toast?
It is sad.
The no coffee is not that big of a deal, but they're like, you can have some coffee. Just make sure you don't put anything in it. Don't put any flavors in it. Don't put any creamer in it. That's bad.
No cream. No sugar.
I don't think sugar's the
That would be
problem
sad.
because they're like, you could have clear juices today, like grape juice. I'm like, that's full of sugar, you know. So
Yeah,
it's not the sugar. It's the clear. They're gonna be they're mad about the clarity, you know. So, which is interesting because you would figure that like the doctors would be able to figure it out. They're like,
right.
absolutely do not drink blue Gatorade. It'll ruin everything. It'll ruin everything. We won't know what's going on if you drink blue Gatorade. And you're like, we don't. What? The blue Gatorade is the problem? I'm like, it almost seems to me like maybe you don't know what's going on. Maybe you don't know what's going on. So we'll see. Don't eat any seeds. You definitely can't eat any seeds. That will freak them out. No,
There's little bits everywhere.
They'll freak them the fuck out. Yeah, they're the butt doctor. I don't get it. You know.
You'd think.
You'd think that they would just know what was going on, but they don't apparently. We had the 5 gifted. We have the 5 gifted memberships.
No. People I've never heard of.
People I've never heard of. What's Mind of Perp? Who's Mind of Perp? Let's see. Do they have like?
I'm gonna guess it's some straight marijuana, but that's just me.
No, they don't have any content. Dang. You always hope that the new members have some content. Let's see, Justin. Somebody named Justin. Let's go to their channel. Let's see what they got. Nope, just a playlist. I always hope that it's somebody because I can give them a shout out. Like, look at this.
Right. That's kind of the point. Go check out these people's shit.
Oh, Hookeye has some fish tank stuff from 11 years ago. That's some old videos.
All right.
Obviously a fish tank person from 11 years ago, 12 years ago. I feel like if somebody has a discus set up 12 years ago, a discus tank set up 12 years ago, they're probably deep in the fish community, you know?
Yeah.
They're in it.
But the question is still deep in it.
They are because they've been watching my channel. So the way that the membership gifting works is that it takes the highest interactive people, the people that have been most interactive with the channel, whether it be comments, likes, watch time. Generally, it's watch time. So it means that somebody's been sucked in through the algorithm to watch probably the encyclopedia. The encyclopedia plant videos is generally where those people come from. Because they're like,
okay,
I wanted to learn about this plant. And then all of a sudden I watched 12 of your videos. And then I didn't want to become a member. But now I'm a member. Someone gifted it to me. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, because where's our playlists? That's where we have to go. What has the most views? Nope, not the plant profiles this time around. Shorts and weekly live streams have the most views. Weird. Normally it's all the plant profile stuff that all of a sudden gets like a bunch of views. And then people start commenting on other videos like, what the fuck is this? You know, they're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge of whatever you're up to on the internet, you know. And then they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, exactly, you know, 100%. Duh. Although for some reason the fresh painting of the fish room has a lot of views. I guess there's a lot of people out there doing DIY summer projects.
They like that dark blue and the gray.
I wanted to learn about the F word and surprises. True, very true. All facts.
Haven't heard surprises in a while.
Yeah, I stopped doing it because whenever I'd run into people, they would ask me to do it. And then I realized that
the annoyance of having a catchphrase.
Yeah, I forget what the the other one was internet. I used to yell internet at the beginning of all the videos.
Yeah.
And people would ask me to yell it. People would ask me to yell it for them. So then I stopped doing it. And then people started to yell at me to yell surprises for them. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that anymore. This is weird, you know. And then you start to realize that like you are a caricature of yourself. So I better stop because people keep asking me. People keep asking me to do shit like that, and I'm like, I don't know. This is awkward. It kept getting awkward for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Well, you know,
especially
and like, so one of the weird things is that like people would get super shy about asking to take a picture. People would get super shy about asking to like, hey, can I take a picture with you? Like, sure. People would be super shy about it, but they would be totally happy to ask me to yell surprises super loud around a bunch of other people, and I'm like, this is a weird dynamic because some people wanted to take a picture with me as a keepsake of like, yeah, I met that guy. That's cool.
Right.
But then people just wanted me to yell in crowds of people. And I'm like, it would be better if they just wanted to take a picture. That'd be cool.
Right. Much lower key.
I still find it odd when people would ask me to sign stuff. Can you sign this for me? No. But yes, I will.
What were they having?
I'm nice.
On?
Like t-shirts and stuff.
Oh, well, then that's cool. You had.
It's not a matter of like whether you think it's cool or not. I'd still think it's odd.
I get it. You just. It's interesting to see how people view you.
Kiwi Mamo showed up. Yeah, I stopped doing catchphrase stuff because I realized like you just end up being Andrew Dice Clay, you know, a caricature of a person that doesn't exist, and people don't understand. A lot of people don't seemingly have the understanding that like, you know, there's a certain performance that goes into like, you know, creating the content, but they can't separate the two things from you. So then you end up becoming like the content person. Right.
Yeah.
And that's a weird place to be existing in, you know. It's like what's his name? Henry Cavill? Like he's not Superman.
Right.
You know. But then people are like, can you bend this kryptonite? you know, and it was like, what? Yeah.
Or all the Star Trek actors who are constantly being asked by fans, well, on the Enterprise, does da 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 da, and
Yeah.
because they've got
They're like, you need to talk to Gene Roddenberry and the writers, not me. I play
right,
Spock. I'm an actor. I'm not actually from a Vulcan. You know,
right,
like you need to talk to the writers about those specific things. Yeah. Which, by the way, it's one of the things that I really love about going to the Comic-Cons, like with Vicky's aunt, because I actually get to meet the writers that I really enjoy and be like, what was up with this character? And sometimes they don't remember.
right.
Sometimes they're just like, I don't fucking know, man. That was like, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but they're like, I don't know. That was 28 years ago. I don't really know. That's hard to say.
28 years and 7 books ago. Yes.
Well,
I've created 5 new worlds since then. I don't remember.
yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing is that like they end up world building these other worlds, you know, and then it's like, well, you know, kind of it's up to the reader's interpretation. You know, that's like the nice way to put it.
Yeah. Which is
I'm
always
I'm currently audio listening to my aunt's library of books, which I don't even know how big it is, but it seems to be large. And I wish there was a free way for me to listen to them because there's quite a few.
That's funny.
Like I don't know how many books there are. So I started with Assassin's Apprentice. That's the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I think that's just the realm of the Elderlings. So I'm not sure. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I know, she's constantly writing stuff. And it's super funny. Our uncle will be like, yeah, I don't know. So she gets in there, she gets writing. I just don't bother her. So I just go find other stuff to do. She's like, I know how it goes. I just get out of the way.
Right. That's funny.
But it is super weird that, like, you know, if I'm listening to YouTube stuff, actually, here's a hilarious story. So the other day, we were off doing something with them, with Robin Hobb and her husband.
Not Robin Hobb.
Oh, it's Robin Hobb. It's Aunt Maggie and
Right.
Uncle Fred. And we were off doing something. And so about 2 months ago, the autoplay on YouTube was just auto-playing crap. Just whatever, you know, just automatically playing things. They're like, we think you're interested in this, right?
Right.
And I'd read the whole Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinniman, which, by the way, I'm super stoked that they're making a TV show. Have I mentioned this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm super stoked. It looks like it's going to be good. Whenever it comes out, it's probably a couple years from now, but whenever it comes out, it's probably going to be good. Anyhow, I was just auto listening to stuff on YouTube, and there was like a authors panel. I don't know if you've ever seen these before. You ever been to a con? You ever been to a convention where they have the authors panel? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I don't know. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they have
I have
authors.
many.
They basically have the authors up front, and MC will like ask questions. Some of the questions are put in by the crowd. Eventually, some of the crowd people will come up and ask questions. But it was a writers panel, and it was like introduced, like, oh, introducing on the writers panel today, and it was just Matt. You go, Matt Dinniman, you know, and then Matt comes out, and people are cheering, and then it's like, and Robin Hobb, and then she comes out, and everyone's cheering, and it's just the two of them, which I thought was incredibly interesting. So I listened to it. I'm like, might as well listen to this. It's an hour long, no big deal. And so I listened to the whole thing, but it was super interesting because I'm like, I just got done reading Matt Dinniman, and you know,
Now you're in the midst of
run into aunt and uncle all the time. So I'm like, I actually asked her, I was like, what do you think about Matt Dinniman? She's like, oh my God, he's like the sweetest guy. He's the best. Blah, 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 blah. She had nothing but good things to say about him. I'm like, all right, I'll keep reading his books then, with my suspicious side eye. Like, keeping an eye on you, Matt Dinniman.
I love those panels when they're small like that, because they'll often get kind of in mini conversations with each other, which I find even more fascinating than just the straight answers. So
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny when you like go to dinner with them or whatever. It's like it's very interesting. You're like, oh, you guys are super introverted. I got it. Okay. Must ask direct questions.
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Almost all authors are like that. They all seem to be like that. They're not giving it up for free with their mouth.
yep.
But she's been some of the local writers and stuff. They've been gathering to write, do some free write stuff, and I'm thinking I'm gonna. I wonder if I'm thinking I'm gonna try to go to some of them, maybe like once a month. And
That would be good.
yeah, I get to work on some stuff in the fish room today. A little too hot for me to work in the garden. I went out earlier today and I was like, it's a beautiful day. And then I went back out and it was like, whoa, it got hot out here. It's like yesterday I worked outside all day yesterday and it was like cloudy and then the sun came out. I ran out of roofing material, so that's a bit of a cluster, but it is what it is.
Is this the coop roof?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got all the roof on, but short a panel. Somebody was impatient when we were buying roofing. And it wasn't me. Somebody was like, just grab them, we got to go. So
Okay.
instead of buying 7, we only bought 6. And we need 1 more. Otherwise there's a hole. And then what's the point of the roof if there's a big giant long hole in it?
Right. It's just unfortunate. That's what that is.
Yeah. It's bad timing. We do have butternut
Wet
squash
chicken.
just starting to grow though, so that's pretty exciting. Did you just start your butternut squash? When do you start butternut
think she-
squash?
Probably means the squash themselves are starting to grow, not the plants. The squishy squash.
Let's get the AI answer.
I think they're a fall
That's what I
crop.
was wondering because I was like, we do ours early on. Yeah. Start indoors late April. Plant outdoors late May, early June. Then harvest through October. Oh, the actual
Correct.
squashes. Oh, you have all the plants. The squashes are starting to grow. Our squash came in super fast this year. We've already culled it. We've already culled the squash and replanted for second round of broccoli and something else.
Wow.
They're vining about 17-foot vines and they're full of tiny baby squashes. Yeah, so if I recall correctly, one of the things you want to do with your squash is you want to limit how far, like,
They vine
yeah,
so that they're not using all that energy to feed the distant children.
Yeah, cut squash vines 1 to 2 inches from the main stem for the side shoots, or 1 to 2 leaf nodes beyond your last developing fruit when shortening the long vines. Yeah, you want to shorten the long vines because you want to get all them to grow the right size. That's the downside is that, like, if you let it just go wild, you'll get a bunch. You still get a bunch of squash, but you want them to get full growns.
Don't want to stunt your squash growth.
Yeah, you want to get the big ones. You want to get the big ones. Because when the butternut squash, when they're small, they're just like a seed pod, basically, and there's barely any meat there. But when they get fully grown and they get long, the seed pod's down at the bottom, and this whole top part is butternut squash meat, essentially.
It's funny. Butternut squash is never one of those vegetables that I recall eating a lot as a kid. It was just not something that was on our table. And you would have thought in Indiana, big produce garden producer, but squash is never a big thing in our family of any type outside of zucchini and the occasional pumpkin. It's just weird.
Yeah, because you guys, Indiana is livestock.
Corn. Soybeans.
Well, it's corn and soybean, yeah, but it's mostly livestock.
Lots of that too, but
you grow the corn and the soybeans for the livestock. That's the thing.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. No, I was saying, like, because I was like, I don't know how much actual. I mean, there's obviously a lot of agriculture in Indiana, but I'm sitting there thinking the breakdown is like.
Well, I was thinking more gardens. Everybody had gardens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, most reasonable people have big gardens, right?
They eat out of them.
No, but I was thinking, because I was like, I know that a lot of the turnaround in Indiana, so they grow a lot of the hard corn also for ethanol. And then a lot of the soybean and corn gets turned into pork, because I was trying to figure that out. I just looked it up. Because they're livestock. They're 5th nationally in livestock.
Oh, wow.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I swear Indiana's mostly focusing on meat more than anything else. Even though there is a lot of land dedicated to the corn and the soy, it's like that turns around to like, feed that hog over there, But yeah, yes. I think like butternut squash couldn't have been popular that long ago. Not to say that like
I feel.
No, because I'm thinking like when butternut squash came to market was probably 25 years ago. It was probably what I was thinking. Yeah, so here you go. Charles Leggett invented the squash in the 1940s, so it was really only invented with a crossbreed on a gooseneck. By crossing a gooseneck with other varieties. Yeah, market expansion wasn't until the late 1980s. So, yeah.
All right.
Because that's what I was thinking was like, I mean, if you're kind of thinking back historically, like, 40, 50 years ago, because that's kind of where I was putting my mind, is that like I don't think it would have been around very much.
That's true.
It just, because you're like, if you think back to your childhood, it's like, you remember Brussels sprouts were garbage, right? Like Brussels sprouts were absolute trash. We don't grow those Brussels sprouts anymore. Did you know that?
Much better ones, yes.
No, we don't grow. We don't grow. From when I was a kid, we don't grow those Brussels sprouts anywhere anymore.
Okay.
No one grows those Brussels sprouts anywhere. That's why I was like, they tasted like shit when I was a kid. And nowadays they're like, that's all right. That's not bad at all. That's like a little tiny cabbage that doesn't taste like fucking buttholes, roasted butthole,
Yes.
And it's because we don't. No one grows that
variety.
Brussels sprout anywhere. No one does. It's basically extinct.
Okay.
Because people are like, get
All
rid
right.
of it. It tastes like ass, and this one doesn't.
Awesome.
Kiwi Mama
Yeah,
says, I used to
I
cut
just seem
butternut
to.
squash in half and filled with savory mince and bake. I prefer to cut mine down and cube it, and then roast the cubes, and then whatever's not
Okay.
left over, I make into a pureed soup. That's what I like to do. My kid
All of
makes
which
fun of me
sounds
because I'd been
delicious.
lost in cornfields a few times as a kid, and I told him how scary it was. It is scary, I will tell you. When you are actually lost in a cornfield, it actually is scary.
It's something about not being able to see out over the top, I think.
Yeah, you can't see
That,
up and over. You don't know what the fuck's going on, and it's all uniform, you know?
yep.
You're like, I swear I've seen this corn stalk before. Am I going the right way? Like, nope, you're not going the right way because they all look the same, motherfucker. You're screwed.
It's even worse than a mirror maze in some ways.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
it's that weird thing is that like you really have to pick a direction and stick to it. Um,
Yeah.
luckily the corn rows are normally fairly
Straight.
straightish. Yeah, you know, I mean not always, but at least you can keep following them. Problem is that if you follow the corn rows and if they actually plant on the turn, right, you could actually
Right.
just be doing a long zigzag forever,
Yeah.
you know. But
Forever.
I think you have to be smart enough to realize that you're making a turn at some point, you know. But I will say it's even more scary when it gets dark out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the
Because then
only
you can't
scary,
see
probably
really.
the only scary part in the what was those the Silent Monsters movie? What was that?
Oh, Shadow Man, Slender Man.
No, not Slender
No.
Man.
Okay. Silent Monsters.
It's a Silent Monster movie. A Quiet Place. The Quiet Place movies.
Yeah, I didn't see
There's a
those.
part where they were in a cornfield.
All right.
Which is the weirdest thing because remember, I think we talked about this a long time ago, is that the A Quiet Place was like basically stolen. Like they stole that from The Silence, I think, or something like that.
Right.
And they managed to make their movie and released it before the other one came out. That was their whole thing. Yeah, John Krasinski and
Right.
Emily Blunt basically like stole that from a book. A Quiet
Okay.
Place stolen. Yeah, this came out a while ago. When I saw The Silence the first time, Silence, the first thing I thought was, "Hey, I've seen this movie before. Its resemblance to A Quiet Place seemed too impossible to be an accident." So obviously, I went online to do a bit of research, and I found out that is actually the other way around. The Silence is based on a book by Tim Leben. This book was published before the writing of A Quiet Place even began. Now I don't know if John Krasinski, director of A Quiet Place, actually stole the idea of this movie from this book, since I couldn't find any statement from him online yet. This is just some information for all the people out there who are getting mad at The Silence. Well, it is actually an original piece. Yeah. Super funny. It's super funny that the Silence book was out long before A Quiet Place was even written. And the show, The Silence, was already in production when The Quiet Place started.
Right. If you're trying to be quiet, a cornfield is a bad choice because they are noisy,
It's noisy.
especially in fall.
You're wrestling into crap, and like the corn leaves like tear you up, you know? You get a little bit
Yep,
torn up.
they're sharp, really sharp. That's why they talk about huskers' hands. People who strip the corn get all torn up.
Yeah, so supposedly, however, the creators of A Quiet Place started developing their concept and writing early script drafts in 2013. Predating the publication of Leben's novel, screenwriters Scott Beck and Brian Wood stated their idea came from long-standing fascination with silent films rather than outside source material. Author Tim Leben has acknowledged the heavy similarities between the two properties, but noted that the specific narrative execution and ultimate storylines diverge significantly. Yeah, I don't believe it. This is people just playing nice. This is people just like this is people like
It's already
you know.
done. We might as well just make the most of it and go on. It's not.
It's like people just playing nice because they don't want to ruin their career. But yeah, I mean the reality of it is far too. It's far too on the nose for it to be. What is that, like parallel concept? What do they call that? There's a name for it where it's like, there's a name for it. I forget what that's called. Maybe it just is parallel thinking. Convergent evolution.
Oh,
You know,
well,
that like there's an idea where it's like, you know, I don't know who's a famous comedian. It's like Theo Vaughn goes out and tells a joke that's similar to Shane Gillis, right? And people are like, "Oh, he stole his joke," and it's just like, but it's like they're just having the same concept at the same time, right?
right.
Which
Concept is current topic also.
technically it is possible that they all just had parallel thinking. I think it is possible, but I don't think realistically, like with the connections in Hollywood, right? To be like, oh, we're making a monster movie where everyone has to be silent, right? And it's like, well, this sounds a lot like this book that was out, you know, and then just be like,
Yeah.
no, it's different, you know, and be like, I don't know, and both be in production at the same time. Like, there's just not that many people that are actively working, like stars that are actively working in Hollywood to not know something.
Right.
Somebody knows something, right?
Somebody knows, yeah, something that's up, but yeah.
Kiwi Mamo says Brussels sprouts are yummy. That's true, but they used to not be yummy. They used to actively be not yummy. That's the thing. Is that like we all weren't raised by grandmas that didn't know how to cook Brussels sprouts. They knew how to cook them. They tasted like shit though.
Right.
Like the starting ingredient tasted bad. We don't grow those Brussels sprouts anymore. Hold on. I'll get the actual dates for you. Let's see.
I'm wondering if fresh spinach was available in the produce section when I was a kid, because that's the other thing that nobody ever liked was spinach, but it was always because it was the canned shit, not the fresh stuff.
Yeah, in the 1990s. So in the 1990s, a Dutch scientist named Hans van Doom. Yes.
Awesome name.
Fucking rad name, dude. Identified the chemicals that caused the bitterness. In the new varieties, seed companies started crossbreeding plants to lower the levels of bitter compounds while increasing natural sweetness. So, yeah.
Okay.
It used to... So the older varietals that nobody grows anymore, by the way, contained high levels of a chemical compound called glucosinolate, which is why it used to smell like sulfur and shit when they would cook them.
I was close. Farts.
Yeah.
Smelled like farts.
Yeah. Glucosinolates are sulfur and nitrogen-rich plant compounds found mainly in cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cabbage, and kale. That's why you get broccoli farts in your house when you cook your broccoli.
Mm-hmm.
Pungent plants with a lot of it in it is mustard, horseradish, and radishes. Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts, bok choy, and watercress.
Roasted radishes are so good.
Yeah, maybe.
Sorry.
I don't know. I haven't had any food since yesterday, so should probably stop talking about food because it's making me hungry.
All right. Yeah.
Either way, Quiet Place, they probably stole it. It just seems like the timeline. It's so sus, you know? It's all super sus with the timeline and everything. That you'd be able to get into production that fast at the same time while a book is out that has the exact same content is very weird. And and that book had been picked up to be made into a show. It's just that whole timeline makes no sense to me. And by the way, at the time, I think everybody was still into zombie movies, right? Which, by the way, the other night I started watching the series of Daryl Dixon, which is like the continued Walking Dead nonsense, and oh my god, it is not good. I'm telling you, they're doing not good stuff. Like the show execution itself is good, you know, like the cinematography, the sound, the look, the set. The costumes are good still. Yeah, I mean, kudos to everybody who's actually producing the show. But, man, the concept is just so out of this fucking world right now. Daryl Dixon is essentially just like, he's invincible, you know. It doesn't matter how many dumb mistakes they make that are the same mistakes over and over again, right? Which is like, you just walk down a city street and you're like, there's no zombies here. It's fine. And then the zombies just come out of the woodwork, you know? And then it's like, oh, we're stuck. We don't know what to do. And we got to escape, you know? And then the zombies like, almost get them. But not quite. They manage to skin of their teeth, you know? And then they always introduce like that which would be a really interesting new character, right? Which you're like, oh, I'm very interested in this new character. This new character seems to have been through years and years of zombie apocalypse survival. And he's probably got some very interesting character attributes. Oh, shit, he died. You know? And they introduce... It's like, man, I don't know. Like, I guess keep making it. I guess if people are watching it. But, man, it is... the tropes are strong at this point, you know? Like... they were in France. They managed to escape France and made it to the UK. And then they met the one guy who was alive in the UK, and it turns out he had a boat. So they got on the boat, but of course the boat got in a storm, and then so they washed up on shore in Spain. And of course, like, the people in Spain are crazy, right? And then, like, they go to a town, and the town has to sacrifice like one of their daughters every year so that they continue to have support of the king. I don't know. It's just fucking bizarre shit. And it's like, well, you obviously need to start a war against the king now because he's taking a daughter every year, which, like, fundamentally, like, to the standpoint of, I'm gonna have to mute you. You're like talking to somebody. She's getting a delivery or something. We're gonna listen in. What are they doing? Oh, she's answering the door. Oh, she was answering the door and shit, and didn't mute yourself. Very, very big faux pas. Very big fax pass. Fax pass. Anyhow, so, like, I don't know if I'm to believe, like, I can't suspend my disbelief when people have such a fucking absurd concept, right? Of like, okay, so the zombie apocalypse is real. We're in Spain. This is like an established township in Spain that has managed to survive the last, because I think they're like 8 or 9 years into the apocalypse now at this point, maybe a decade into the apocalypse, but this Spanish town is still maintaining itself, and like they're maintaining themselves by giving away one of the town's daughters, like the young daughters, every year so that they can get guns from the king. I don't know. It's just like, hey man, if this 5 or 6 people show up and they say like, I'm the king, you just shoot them like you would shoot a zombie and just be like, get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? You're not going to abduct one of our daughters. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand a world. I don't understand a world I'm supposed to, like I said, suspend my disbelief, where you go, okay, this is a world where people are life and death every day, right? Supposedly, right? Like, this is the zombie apocalypse. The dead walk. They bite people. They die. You have to shoot them. You have to evade them all the time. And then some guy just shows up and is like, I have a fancy belt buckle, so I'm going to take one of your daughters, right? It's like, well, I've already been killing shit and people for the last 10 years. I guess I'll just let the king take one of our daughters. What else could I possibly do? Like, I'm sorry, fight to the death maybe and kill all those guys that want to take your daughter away, because there's only one reason they want to take your daughter away. I don't care if it's the apocalypse or not, and it involves procreating, probably involuntarily. What the fuck are we talking about? I'm not going to allow a random guy to take my daughter away to become an indentured fucking child factory. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? I don't understand. You know, everyone's carrying around like bloody machetes and shotguns and rifles and machine guns and flamethrowers and fucking God knows what, right? But then it's like, but he's the king, so you got to give one of the daughters up. And it's all like an elaborate lottery too, where they tie the name of each of the young girls from the town to the neck of a pig, and then the pigs race down a pig raceway, and then whichever one gets there first, that's the one they take the name off the sash that's tied around the pig's neck. Like, are we signing up to have a pig race to find out who's going to take one of our daughters? Like, what in the holy fuck is going on? Because it's like, excuse me, grab that guy and bite him. You already have millions of examples out there of people grabbing people and biting them. It's not even like a playbook at this point. It's just what happens in this world. I guess if they kill you, then at least you tried to save your daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. I can't suspend my disbelief to be like, well, Daryl Dixon just arrowed 3 guys to death a day and a half previous to this. He crossbowed guys, regular guys, not zombie guys, regular guys. He arrowed them, and they died, all 3 of them. He killed all those guys.
Right.
In the woods. But they're just going to allow people to take one of your daughters. I'm going to tell you this. You're going to have to murder me if you want to steal my daughter, and it's not going to be fun. You know? Like, it's not going to, you know, it's not going to be fun. You're not going to walk up into town and be like, "Yeah, but I'm the big bad king guy." And I'm going to be like, well, me and my boys, we're going to go out in a hail of fire here, you know, whatever. You're not taking Olivia. Sorry, it's not fucking happening. What? Like, we're just supposed to be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, no, I don't fucking think so. It's crazy. So I don't know. Like I said, the premise of the show is just so like, oh, okay. So obviously they're gonna kidnap somebody that Daryl really likes, and then now Daryl is going to murder 60 people by running around some kind of fortress somewhere, narrowly escape, but then they're going to have to leave at the end, right? Because we have to leave, you know?
Right.
I'm like, it's fucking
The town will be safe as long as we stay.
Write something interesting. Are you just eating and talking to me with your fucking mouth full?
No.
I fucking hear you over there.
Maybe. Shut up.
If it isn't a Philly cheesesteak, what is it?
Fried chicken.
You ordered fried chicken to be delivered to you?
From Albertsons.
You're all, bring me my fried chicken.
They didn't have a sale on pig-named virgins, so I had to go with fried chicken.
French zombies smell of bad cheese. Yeah, the France. I mean, the France narrative. I don't know. They tried to introduce some new zombies in the France narrative. So there was like a acid zombie, and then one that had like big polyps on it. So sort of an exploding zombie. New zombies in the Walking Dead. So they had
dead things evolve.
Yeah, they have variant zombies. So like where the zombies have been sort of like lounging in, right? So the sort of acid zombies, it's sort of explained that like they were near a facility and they've just been living in the chemicals that are there, right? And it's sort of like, it's not necessarily like they aren't better at being zombies. They're still shitty, like shambling fucking idiots, right? They've just absorbed some of the nature stuff around them. Like there's a zombie that's just all full of tree roots and stuff because it just like, because if there's nothing around, they just lay down eventually, right? And so stuff like grew through it. That's the idea. And then, but they're still undead, so they're still alive. So if you come walking by, they'll will probably wake up in a little while, you know. So they had the burners and the shamblers, and they had the acid blood burners. Toxic touch introduced in The Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon. These French variants possessed highly corrosive, smoking blood, and acid-like skin that burns human flesh and materials on contact. So I think that they were like, I forget what they said the origin was, but it was like basically like where they were at. They're essentially like absorbing environmental stuff around them is what I thought it was, which is like, okay, I mean, you can sort of start, because my thing would be that if it's been 10 years and they're undead, but they're undead because of the advanced like evolution what do you call it, virus that's in them, right? Like, wouldn't they be starting to adapt and do stuff? So I would think that, like, if you were the showrunner on this, you would just really want to focus on this, that, like, the zombies are changing. The zombies are becoming a bigger threat. Most of the bad people have already been through, like they were abducting daughters from the Spanish village, and then eventually the people rose up and murdered all those bad guys. So the bad guys are just whittling. They're getting whittled.
Humanity has sorted itself.
They're getting worn down, right? It's like, well, there just isn't very many of them anymore, and people don't really want to sign up for their shenanigans anymore. Where it's like, it sort of made sense that like Negan could exist because it was kind of close. It was much closer to the apocalypse itself. So it was like, okay, these people gathered resources and decided, well, we're going to band together to oppress the people around us because we have, lascivious needs and we want to just rape and murder everybody, right? And so you're like, okay, well, yeah, but that force could get worn down, right? Like as they run out of ammo,
Mhm.
as they run out of resources to collect in a certain area. And it's like, let's say they send out a scouting party and you knock off 3 of them, right? It's like, well, their number went from 53 to 50. Like now there's only 50 of them, right? So like there is a, in my mind, you could suspend disbelief that like this biker gang essentially like gathered up all the bikers in the area and they're all organized under this one Goomba, right? Or a Koopa Troopa, or what's the other guy's name? Bowser. Maybe they're underneath Bowser and they're like, we got to get him. You know, we're gonna get what we want, and we're not good at farming, so we better rob from some farmers, right? And you're like, okay, like that could sort of make sense over like a sort of shortened timeline, but it's like, you know, and I always bring this up because there was that study that was done about death row inmates. I don't know if you've ever heard of this study. I could probably find it at some point, but anyhow, I'm gonna recap it in a terrible way. But essentially, all of these researchers, these psychiatrists, were researching human behavior, and one of the sort of specific groups that you can pick is, well, death row inmates. They're never going to get out of prison, so you could study their behavior because that is a real, like, specific set of circumstances that this cross section of humanity is experiencing, right? And you're like, and there's not that many of them, so you don't need to, you know, your study doesn't need to encompass 100,000 people. It's like, well, here's the 600 death row inmates that we have in the U.S., and let's start studying them and figure out what's up. Well, one of the things that they noticed with studying the death row inmates was that the death row inmates would do things to improve their environment, even though that there was no expectation to ever get out. Like, oh, you're sentenced to 180 years. I mean, you're not going to live to be 230, and who knows if the prison would still be standing in that amount of time, right? But things that they would do is they would like decorate their cell, they would clean their cell. A lot of them started going to school, like learning things, like learning trades. They would work out, physically take care of themselves and stuff. And they're like, why are they doing any of this? And it's like, because no matter how bad your situation is, like a human being will try to improve that situation, right? It's the idea of, you know, molding yourself to your environment or molding your environment to yourself, right? It's like, well, why do we have a roof and air conditioning and lights and computers and all this shit? It's like you want to improve your own existence. And you know, if you're talking about like death row inmates, like the expectation is they're never going to get out. And especially if they're like, well, I know I murdered those 6 people, so there never will be exonerating evidence, right? Like there never will be evidence that it was just this other guy, you know? So why would those people be improving their station, right? Like their position. And you're like, okay, well, turns out that's just part of human nature that you'd want to be improving the environment that you're in. So my expectation, if you were to like write a narrative into a story like that like, okay, these people are being oppressed by the biker gang, right? Well, almost every person there is going to start figuring out like, well, how do we get out of this situation so we're no longer oppressed by this like bullies, right? By just like unelected bullies, you know? And I just, my assumption is that over time, the people that are cooperating are going to overwhelm and overrun the selfish, air quote, bad guys, right? And that's just a reality, right? Like, I think that's just a reality of history that would continue to happen. So when I, you know, if I watch a show like that, I can't even get into suspended disbelief of like, well, I guess these people are just cool with one of their daughters being abducted every year. Like that's fucking, no. Like, no. Nope. Don't think so. And by the way, like if
Right.
the king character was oppressing them so hard that there was no way for them to fight back, the people would also be trying to figure out how to be not oppressed so badly, right? But nah,
And why
you
would
know.
they participate in it by the whole naming of the pigs and the lottery? Like, why make it sport? You know,
Well, the idea is that
make him
it's because
fight.
you have. It's because you have to.
Oh, sure it is.
It's because you have to, right?
Uh-huh. No, you don't.
It's true. You don't. You don't have to.
They're a bunch of idiots.
The bad guys. Anyhow,
Bad
how's
guys
your
don't
fried
always have to
chicken?
win.
You ordered a bunch of fried chicken to eat while we're on stream.
Well, I ordered it earlier. It got delayed and delivered now. So,
Mm.
and it's one of those things that's, at least some of it is best eaten hot. So, yes, I did eat a piece. It was fine. I'm done. Sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. I would have offered you some, but you can't eat right now. So I was trying to be on the DL. I just didn't hit the mute button.
You're fucking busted so hard.
I am. I suck as a human, man.
Jail.
It's just bad.
It's gonna be jail for you. That's it. It's got to be jail.
That's true.
Prison. Straight to prison.
Well,
What
guarantees
else?
me 3 hots and
What
a
else?
cut.
I guess. Do we talk about world news? Because there's not much to talk about the butt stuff, but that's what's going on. So I made that the title
Right,
of the stream
that's-
today. Because neither of us are doctors. We just have to listen. You know.
Right.
We just have to listen to the doctors. We have to listen to those guys.
I had to go for knee stuff.
Knee
I
stuff.
was told that I did not tear my meniscus. I'm just very sore and must allow it to heal. Yes, I fell a week ago Thursday and twisted the shit out of my knee and haven't really been able to use it well since then. So
Did you get a sweet knee brace?
that was. No, I did not get a sweet knee brace.
You
At
should
this
have.
stage, because it's been a week. So, like, I know. Well, maybe next time. Actually, hopefully there won't be a next time. But there are 3 stairs where I'm going that I'm going to have to learn to navigate without a rail. So the faster the knee heals, the happier I'll be.
Yeah.
So good times. But it's working on it. My car gets fixed this week, so that'll be good too. It's getting a new suspension.
Actually,
Gum.
talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl again in the TV show. It's all these people that keep saying, like, we should get this person, we should get that person. It's going to be Talon Warburton. That's his name. Patrick Warburton's son.
Okay.
And I can't believe anybody is thinking it's going to be anybody else. So Patrick Warburton plays Dungeon Crawler Carl's dad in the audiobooks.
Right.
And
all right.
Dungeon Crawler Carl's son, Dungeon Crawler Carl is the son, right, who is said to be 28 years old. He's said to be about 6'3". He's from Seattle. He has dark hair, and he's a white guy. He's pretty physically built in the books, and he gets more physically built as the books go on because of, like, magic upgrades and shit.
Right.
And Patrick Warburton plays his dad in the audiobooks. Now, let me explain to you who Talon Warburton is. Talon Warburton is actually Patrick Warburton's son, who is an actor. He does voice acting, and he does voice acting and shit. He is 6'5", 33 years old, has dark hair, and looks like Carl, and sounds like Carl, because Carl is the voice of Carl in the books is an affectation of Patrick Warburton as a younger guy. And people are like,
that'll be perfect.
you know, you should get the Jack Reacher guy to be Carl. You should get Henry Cavill to play Carl. There's all these people that are like, I keep seeing all these posts about like who people should be who should be Dungeon Crawler Carl, you know, and it's like, but here's what's even funnier. So let me tell you a little story about Talon Warburton. He hangs out with the guy who does the voiceover work of the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobooks.
Because it's his dad.
Well, no. No.
Oh, the producer?
The guy who does the voices of the book is Jeff Hayes. He does all the other voices. Patrick Warburton does the voice of Carl's dad.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's because Jeff Hayes was doing an affectation of Patrick Warburton as a young guy for Carl's voice.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
As a voice actor, he was like, yeah, I took some Patrick Warburton to make the Carl voice, right? And then in the later books, Dungeon Crawler Carl's dad, it's not actually his dad. It's like a apparition that's taunting him, basically, right? Anyhow, in the audiobooks, they asked Patrick Warburton to do the voiceover work for the Dungeon Crawler Carl's dad.
Okay.
And so Jeff Hayes, the guy who does the audiobooks, he does like 100 voices for the audiobooks. He hangs out with Talon Warburton. Like they hang out, like they're friends, like they go bowling and shit. And so they hang out with Matt Dinniman all the time. So I'm like, anybody that's like thinking that Dungeon Crawler Carl and the TV show is going to be played by anybody other than Talon Warburton, you are out of your goddamn mind. Like you are out of your fucking mind. Like it's just crazy. It's crazy that they would think it was anyone else. Like, hold on. Talon Warburton and Jeff Hayes. How do you spell his name? Hayes?
Hayes, usually?
Yeah, nope. No E. Just like multiple of hay.
So much... Okay. Any Hayes?
Oh, yeah, here you go. Add source. Oh, I don't think I can unmute it. Oh, here we go.
Boy, I wish you were here for dinner because I got some lobsters.
Oh,
boy,
lobsters. I hear they scream.
They do scream. Some people say that it's just air coming out of the shells, but they're screaming.
You know what, Jeff? Maybe I'll leave you guys. We can reschedule. Maybe
I like lobsters.
I mean, I like hanging out with your dad. It's not a big deal.
I like playing.
fine. You guys, fine. You guys can hang out.
Don't be angry. I got lobsters from my boy.
Why are you fondling your shillelagh over me right now?
Yeah, so it's like Patrick Warburton. Jeff Hayes is on a call with Talon, and Patrick Warburton breaks in to fuck with him about talking about how he's got lobsters for him. You know, and so I'm like, these guys hang out and they call each other and they go do stuff, and it's like, if you think anyone is going to play Dungeon Crawler Carl other than Talon Warburton, you're fucking out of your cotton picking mind. Like fucking ridiculous. Like, and I would like to just get people to post a moratorium on, can Daryl Dixon play Carl? You know what I mean? It's like, stop it. There isn't another person. They just don't have a deal worked out yet, which my guess would be Or maybe they do have a deal yet and they just don't want to release it. But yeah, I'm like it's definitely going to be Talon Warburton. It's not going to be anyone else. That's it.
It's funny.
Well, we've lost our audience. They stopped commenting. They started talking about
Guess
food.
so.
They started talking about food, and everybody just ran off to go cook food and eat it. And it make me make me feel bad.
So are you looking forward to the readaptation of Wheel of Time? Do you think they'll do a better job the second time around?
There's no readaptation.
Yeah, they're going to do another. It's not on Prime, but I think it's Netflix has picked it up. One of them did.
No, there will not be a season 4. Prime officially canceled the Wheel of Time.
No, I know it's not on Prime, but it's somebody else has picked it up.
No, I mean, as far as I know, they're making a board game.
No, they're working on a new series. The iWatt Studios is the studio that owns the rights, and they're working on it.
That's the
with
family of it's
Thomas
the family.
Wu.
It's the family of Robert Jordan.
Yep. So Thomas Wu is supposed to work on it for Netflix.
Well, okay. So one of the things
And the video game.
so one of the things that you need to realize here is that I would bet $200 of my own money that this is simply a placeholder so that they maintain their rights, because they do this every 7 years or 12 years. They produce something, right? And so that they continue owning the rights. Yeah.
Well, this is the second announcement. I'd seen the previous announcement back in March, and that they were in talks for it. And then in June, they started naming names. So.
So they do this. They do the video game thing all the time. They constantly do this. There's a video game coming out, and it goes air quote into production, right? And it's to maintain the rights. It like the iWatt guys. It's very weird because of the ownership of the series. But iWatt constantly does this shit where they go into production of something. And it's because it's so that they can maintain the rights. And I will tell you, like, I love the Wheel of Time. I love the books. I love the whole, the world, the magic, all that stuff. Like, I love it. I love it to death. But like, iWatt does this shit all the fucking time, where they're like, we're in production of a thing, and it's like, look, you can hire a producer for like, what, $100,000 or something, and be like, yeah, we're in production, and you go have production meetings and shit, and it essentially renews your rights because you produce storyboards and shit, right? And then you're like, and then the funding fell through. Shit. That's why Sony still has fucking Spider-Man. Doesn't Sony still have Spider-Man?
Yeah, outside of the. Yeah, I believe so.
Or did they recently? Yep, they still own it. Sony still owns the exclusive live action and animated film rights. So like, so that's why they do the video game thing too. They create like the worst fucking video game you've ever fucking seen. I think there's a Wheel of Time game that actually exists. But they're making a board game. A board game is coming out, and they're using on the shit that's getting advertised. They're like, the Wheel of Time season 3, it's returning or whatever. Wheel of Time's returning, and they're using images from season 3, and it's because they're producing a board game. Which is like, who the fuck gives a shit about a board game in 2026? Right? Like, whatever, man. I mean, like, the only time I think I would realistically play D&D is if I got invited to Henry Cavill's D&D party. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot imagine trying to get together once a month with all my goober-ass friends that either have kids or don't have kids or have 10 cats or whatever the fuck and try and do D&D at our age, right? Like, I can't. I just fucking can't. But to like, get together and play a board game, like, it's not gonna happen, you know. The video game came out in 1999. It's like unplayable. There's a card game, and there's always been an upcoming open world RPG. Yeah, it still hasn't even come out yet.
That's funny.
But a tabletop and board game, War of the Dragon, is coming out. Yeah, it's just it's one of those things. Like, the legacy of those books have not been handled well at all by any of these productions, right? And it's like, I assumed, and by the way, like, I just is such a huge, like, my God, I don't know why I assumed, but I did. You know, color me fucking tricked. I was tricked. That the whole dedicated Prime series to the Wheel of Time, they built that whole studio around it. Of course, they did it overseas, which is fucking insane, like, in its own right. You know, they built the whole studio in, like, Prague, I think. If I can remember exactly. But, like, the people that they hired to do that show, like, insane. Just unbelievable, the people that they picked. How you deviate from the book story so dramatically makes fucking zero sense, right? And there are deviations that you could make. Like, there are rewrites that you could not include. Like the first book, at the end of the first book, he encounters the Green Man, right? Who is this sort of, it's like Father Nature, if you're thinking about something. It's like Father Nature and Mother Nature, right? Like, there's some weird shit in the first book that Robert Jordan admittedly was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have even included that stuff, but he also didn't think, like, the book series was going to go anywhere. Which, by the way, is what happens to most authors, is that they write these first books on a whole bunch of storylines, and then one suddenly takes off. And you're like, oh, shit. Accidentally put some crap in that book that didn't really need to be there. Fuck. Okay. What do we do? You know? And it's because most authors start like, you know, 5 or 10 novels that one of them gets a little bit of popularity, and so they're like, oh, I gotta write book 2, you know.
Right.
And so there is stuff in the first book that you could just exclude. Like, you could just exclude the Green Man part of the storyline. I reread the books to get ready for the TV show to come out because I was excited. I was like, oh my God, somebody's going to do a faithful adaptation of The Wheel of Time. And
they did.
Tolkien's books had a faithful adaptation. Everyone knew the storyline of the Fellowship of the Ring. Everyone knows the storyline.
Right.
Does that suddenly mean that you rewrite the story? Because, well, they already know the storyline. Okay. How about just do the storyline and then do it well? And then you make $100 million. Right?
Right.
You know, like, Peter Jackson has all the monies now. He can make whatever fucking stupid show he wants. You could have done that, and my expectation was, oh wow, they're going to do a faithful adaptation as well as they could, and there might be some parts that are like, oh, that was kind of cheesy, but just imagine it to look better or whatever, right?
Right.
They reimagined every character in the book. Every character that they did in the first season is incorrect to the book. It's not even close. Like, they have the same names, and that's not even the guy or girl that's in the book. And I don't really give a fuck about the all of the things that people were mad about. That was like, oh, why is this character black? I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. That does not matter to me. If you do any of the racial casting or whatever, like, you don't, who cares? You know, this person could be Asian. It doesn't matter. This world is the world of the Wheel of Time is a melting pot. It is pretty explained throughout the books that, like, yeah, there are these like sort of closed off areas, but even the closed off areas don't have a singular like, these are the white people. Like, they've all been inhabited by so, like, even the village that they come from, the Two Rivers, right? It's very closed off from the rest of the world. It's very, very, very isolated. But the Two Rivers came from, what is it? The Manetherin, right? It was the people of Manetherin that were all there from around the world, and they're the remaining people that are left over from that.
Right.
And it does not mean that these people are all white. You could easily have black, brown, Asian, Native American, whites. You could have all those people living in the Two Rivers. Not a problem. That wouldn't matter. But, you know, it's like you take the main character, Rand al'Thor, and he's 28 years old in the TV show. And in the books, he's like, starts out like 16, maybe 17. And it wouldn't be a big deviation if in the books the character was 35 and the actor was 28, or vice versa. Or if the actor was 35 but the character was 25, right? But every person on this planet has a lived experience that, like, there is a monumental difference in the physical human development of a person that is between the age of 17 and 28. That's vast, right? That is a huge period of development, physically, mentally. Every aspect of a human goes through a ton of changes between the ages of 17 and 28. And you can't just start out a story that is supposed to be like 16, 17-year-old, maybe 18 on the high side, kids. And then just be like, here's a grown man who has a wife now. That's not the same character. Right? It's like if Frodo Baggins, instead of being, how old was Frodo? He's supposed to be like in his 20s, I think. Frodo
Or the
Baggins,
equivalent there.
age at the
They're
Fellowship
longer
of the
lived than
Ring.
you.
Because what is he? He's like 30. So okay, so oh yeah, so he's supposed to be 30. He's supposed to be a 30-year-old hobbit when he inherits the ring, and then he's 50 when he leaves the Shire in the books. And then he's 51 and he completes the quest and returns to the Shire, which the hobbits are supposed to, in the books, they're supposed to live to be about 100. So, yeah, he's basically like, he'd be the human equivalent at 50 of like a 30-something-year-old hobbit. But instead of him being 33, let's just have him be 55 and has a wife and 3 kids. Right. And you're like, but that's different.
Yeah.
You know, but
Very different.
But if we do that, then it's different. That's a different story. That's not this book. This book, like, spends endless amounts of chapters explaining to you that these people find it awkward to even think about kissing a girl, right? Because while there wasn't any racial sheltering in the Two Rivers, there was a sort of almost like Protestant type sheltering of the
puritanical.
It's like they're sort of puritanical or whatever, but it's more along the lines of like they aren't religious zealots, but they're like, this is, you got to know right from wrong, and
Right.
a sort of prudish behavior is considered right in that environment of the Two Rivers itself, because like Randall Thor is actually of a different race than most of the people in the town, because he's Aiel. So he has red hair, and he's super, super, super tall, and nobody else in town is super, super, super tall. He has red hair and blue eyes, and he's the only one in town that has red hair and blue eyes because his dad adopted him. So he's not even from there. His dad found him on the mountain. I can't remember what mountain it's called. He was fighting the Aiel on the mountain, and he killed the pregnant spear maiden that was Randall Thor's mom while she was giving birth, or right after she gave birth. I forget how. It's one or the other. She was basically giving birth because the Aiel are they're a bunch of people who live in the desert, and they're basically like, if you've ever seen Dune, they're like the blue-eyed people in Dune. They live in the desert, and they just kill everybody if you fuck with them.
They're Fremen, yes.
And they are religious zealots, just like the Fremen. They are. There's a big parallel to the Aiel and Dune. Very big parallel, except they're they're red-haired. Most of the Aiel are red-haired. Why red-haired people would come? Why would red-haired people come from the desert? I don't know. It's fucking magic. Magic's real. So, yeah. Yeah, Bilbo was. Yeah, Bilbo was 11-1, so about twice our age span. Yeah, I think the hobbits are supposed to live to be around 100, but I don't know how long their years are.
Yeah, that was always an interesting.
Like,
different race
as far as I know from like
year.
having read the book so many times, like they live longer because I don't think their years are the same. Oh no. Okay. So lifespan, the average life expectancy for a hobbit is around 100 compared to roughly 70, 80 years for normal humans in Middle Earth. Okay. It was about the same. Ugh. Pippin, age 27, considered a young hobbit or a tween at age 27, roughly equivalent to a human teenager around 16 to 18 years old, since he has not yet come of age at 33. Okay, yeah, that's right. So the hobbits come to age at 33, which is the equivalent of our like 18-year-old. Like you become an adult, or like a 21-year-old. So they're still young at 33. By age 50, hobbits who lived to 100 or beyond, like the old Took at 130 or Bilbo before the influence of the One Ring, are comparable to healthy humans in their 80s. Oh, so people that are 130, hobbits that are 130 years old are equivalent to healthy humans in their 80s. Okay, that makes sense. Anyhow, but yeah, so like the Wheel of Time, the TV show was just such like it was like they so wildly deviated. It's unbelievable. It's frankly it's insane. It's
That's
just insane how much they deviated from the books. And to just use the characters and stuff. Like I think the only thing that was kind of accurate was the Myrddraal, right? Like because the Myrddraal are really close to the ring wraiths, right? Except the Myrddraal are like substantial. Like you could touch them. They aren't like apparitions. They can't just disappear. But the Myrddraal are faceless slaves of the bad guy, right? But they like ride on horses, and they're all black capes, and they have no face. Right. So the idea is that they're just like a faceless demon, shadow demon type guy that ride around on horses, very close to ring wraiths. But the lore is definitely different around how the Myrddraal exist in the Wheel of Time. But it's on the parallel of the ring wraiths, right? Like the bad guys control these dudes, and those dudes control essentially what are orcs, but they're Trollocs. They're called Trollocs in the Wheel of Time, and they are it's essentially like they're bred I forget how the Trollocs are bred, but they're essentially like a mutated animal and a corrupted soul of a man, basically, is I think is sort of like the Wheel of Time Trollocs. They're big. They all have these like weird deviations of animal characteristics. Like some of them have like a wolf head and they're hairy. How would you describe Trollocs exactly? Trollocs in the Wheel of
like weird
Time.
Like weird creatures, maybe?
No, there are brutal, nightmarish foot soldiers of the Dark One in Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. They're genetic hybrids created during the Age of Legends by the Forsaken scientist Agenor by splicing human and animal stock. So, yeah, it was pretty fucking close. Agenor used the One Power, so used magic and genetic manipulation to fuse human DNA with various animals like wolves, boars, bears, and goats to build the ultimate shock troops. They're intelligent enough. I would say that they're probably more intelligent than the average orc, but they aren't vocal. They don't have any, like the orcs can talk and shit and yell at each other and have affectation in movies that it's like a punchline, right? Sounds like meat's on the menu, boys. Right. But they're what's that?
So say they were Alex Jones got the idea for Dogman soldiers.
I don't know what the fuck Alex Jones is talking about. He's an idiot, and I don't want to talk about him. I was just saying that, like, okay, here we go. They're grotesque humanoids with horns, tusks, beaks, snouts, claws, or hooves, varying wildly based on their animal ancestry. Diet and behavior, they are ferocious carnivores who love the taste of human flesh. They are sadistic, violent, and chaotic, driven by a deep urge to slaughter. Okay. And their organization, unlike mindless monsters, they form social tribes with distinct names like the Dahaimon or the Korbal, and use primitive speech or grunts. So they're very like non-vocal, but they're just sort of organized like a pack of wild dogs, basically. Now, the Trollocs themselves are cowards and easily panicked unless controlled. They are commanded by Myrddraal, also called half-men or Fades, eyeless shadow spawn born as genetic throwbacks to humanity from the Trolloc litters. Fades possess a terrifying psychic link over the Trollocs, forcing them into absolute obedience. So it's like the Trollocs are like the soldiers, and the Myrddraal are like their lieutenant that psychically makes them go to battle, basically, right? That will stop them from running away because they'll get freaked out. Basically, like if you attack a bunch of them and start killing them, like they'll run away unless there's a Myrddraal around. The Myrddraal will just continue to make them fight until they're all dead.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of parallels between the Wheel of Time and
Dune.
And Dune and, well, no. not Dune, but the Tolkien, the
Tolkien, right?
yeah, the Fellowship of the Ring and all that, right? And then the Hobbit. It's
Right.
very close. I mean, it's not exactly a ripoff, but Robert Jordan himself was like, yeah, I kind of even sort of ripped off some stuff from Tolkien, basically. Was like
Right.
heavily influenced and probably ripped him off a little bit. And then basically tried his best to sort of deviate once the second book was picked up as much as he could.
I understand being completely disappointed at the adaptation. I was the same way when they did a movie from The Dark is Rising in the early 2000s. That was just, they basically made it into this horrible comedy, which it wasn't. It's such a good, great adult fiction fantasy novel, and they totally screwed it up.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think I've read like 2 of these books. I think I read a couple of these books, but
They're so good. Susan Cooper.
I never ran through them because I think if I recall correctly, I switched to Drista Erden. I don't know if you've ever read any of that.
I have. I read both. Yes. I read the Susan Cooper ones. I read very early on, and I
Was it a
love
TV series
anything.
or?
Arthurian. No, they did a movie. And the main actor that they got to play Meriwether is such a not the character. It was just awful. And like I said, they made a comedy of it, and
Oh, was it
it
The
was
Seeker?
kind of bad. Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, that kid, he's an actor now still. You'd recognize him.
Well,
Growing up.
I was, yeah, he's not Meriwether. Meriwether is the guy who plays his mentor.
No, I was saying that he plays the
Oh,
kid.
oh, the kid, the actor.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know who played anyone else.
right.
Alexander Ludwig is. I mean, he's grown now, and you'd be like, oh, that guy.
Yeah,
He's been in stuff
yeah.
like The Viking and shit. Like he plays the Bjorn Ironside, one of the main
Right.
Viking
Yep,
guys.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Ian McShane was the guy who played Merriman Lyon. So
Oh,
great actor, just not the role for him.
yeah.
So yeah, it had this great cast. I had all these hopes, and it was just horrible. It was just like, what were you doing? So
Yeah, I mean it's a shame when
oh,
something gets, if I would say, I don't know, I would have to go like watch this, but I don't know. This might be just one of those movies that like they went into it to make it, and then it was like, I don't know, let's just finish.
yeah,
And then
that's
they were like,
the feel of it.
I don't know what
Well,
this
we
fucking movie is
did
that we
it
have,
for
and then they probably hired a new editing team to edit it.
yeah,
That
yeah.
happened a lot in
I
the
mean,
early 2000s, where it was like, okay, we
it's
made
only
this
got
movie,
13.
but it doesn't
Yeah,
fucking make any sense, and I don't know. Yeah.
yeah.
But no,
It's
that was
only
the
got
thing with
13
that's what I was saying with the
scripts.
Wheel of Time show. They built a full studio to film in. They
Right.
developed a whole studio to make the show. And the showrunner himself, like, basically was just like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. And
Right.
and didn't really want to do that show, essentially, was like, oh, I'm just gonna make this show into the thing that I want to do, which is not the Wheel of Time. And I think like I said, you have 2 options in this world. Like you can Peter Jackson it, or you can someone else. I don't know. Whatever the other thing is, whoever the guys that did the Wheel of Time. You could do one or you could do the other. And I'll tell you what, you will make whatever money making either one, but
Hmm.
Peter Jackson made $1 billion and plus whatever he was paid to initially make the show, make the movies.
Right.
And the
And
other
this
guy
guy
probably will never work again.
got
Oh,
canceled.
I can't remember who this guy was. I think he was Yeah, Rafe Judkins, this guy.
A weird name. Judkins always sounds hillbilly
Yeah, I
to
mean,
me,
this
so to stick with
I would almost tell you that like this guy will never work again. I wouldn't think. He was a showrunner for the Amazon. Has several writing credits for TV. That's it. He has several writing credits for TV, and appeared as a contestant on the 11th season of Survivor, which took place in Guatemala.
Oh, well.
Which
All
you're
right.
like, why was this the guy? Why was this the guy that you just had to have do the Wheel of Time? So yeah, here's
And
his.
by the way,
Here, check this
go
out.
ahead.
These are the only things that he's ever worked on, other than the Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm.
He made a short called Honor, where he was an executive producer. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from 2013 to 2015 as a supervising producer. And a show that did 13 episodes called Hemlock Grove, where he was a co-producer. That's it.
All I've heard of in that list is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I've never heard of Hemlock Grove. All right.
Or Honor.
Or Honor. Well, I'm not a big...
But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was just an executive producer. That's it.
Okay.
Or sorry, supervising producer. He wasn't even... So he wasn't even an executive producer. He was a supervising producer, which means he worked for the executive producers. And then he ran the Wheel of Time. This whole $300, $400 million project. And you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, how is it possible?
We can't fault his Survivor pedigree because we got Mike White from Survivor, and White Lotus is stellar. So, yeah, that's weird.
I'm not faulting that somebody was on Survivor. That's not what I'm saying. It's not. Well, it's not even remotely what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like,
I know. It didn't say
that's
you were.
all he's credited for.
I know. I get that. I wasn't saying you were faulting it.
Okay, I'm just saying that, like, and you get this like $400 million project to be the showrunner for something that you just don't even give a fuck about.
Oh, Chrissy has seen Hemlock Grove. What was its premise?
$130 million per season, plus the $80 million for the build out for season 1.
Wow.
Yeah. So $80 million for the build out, plus $16 million per episode. They spent over $260 million on the first 2 seasons.
Wow. That's big wampum.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, not to mention that, like, you have one of your main actors on the Wheel of Time just leave after the first season. Yep. And the Wheel of Time show rights revert back to Iwat from Amazon. Reported 6 months ago. So now Iwat has the rights back. Amazon doesn't even own the rights now. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's so insane.
I'm hard pressed to believe Amazon would have signed a deal where they don't get to retain the rights after spending that much money, but
well, they own the rights to the shows that they produce. They still own that.
right. Oh,
They don't. They're not producing anything, so now they don't have the rights anymore.
Right, they don't have any further. if you got to pick a series that hasn't been touched, that you got to be in control of, what would you choose?
Well, the Wheel of Time was high on the list.
I know. So you'd go in for a remake of that, or would you pick something that hasn't been imagined yet on
Well, look,
film?
I mean, so let's put some stipulation
Technically.
on it. So, like, let's say
Okay.
we have a production budget, we have a this, we have a that, right?
Mhm.
Out of like pure vanity, I would say I would probably want to do the Assassin's Apprentice because the writer is so part of the family, right?
Right. That
Like
makes sense.
I have absolute access, right? To the author. Author's like unadulterated, like, that's wrong. Do
Right.
this. Okay, got it.
Right.
I'll do that. Marvelous. Can you help me write the script? You know? So there's that.
Okay.
But like my first stipulation would be if I was going to if I was going to make a series, it has to be done. It has to be finished because you can't run into the
Right. Can't run into the George R.R. Martin thing
yeah,
where
you can't run into that thing. You can't do that. So it would have to be done.
okay.
I would say like R.A. Salvatore, like The Legend of Drizzt, I would put that up there too.
Okay.
Because the content in it is so simple, right? Like there's clear protagonist, antagonist, like that all exists. It's complex, but it's not like the world is complex in those books, but it's not complex. Like you know what I mean? Like there isn't a time where it's like, oh, we got to pull the old switcheroo here. That it turns out
Right.
that the main character was a bad guy all along with like terrible like he had horrible intentions this whole time. You know what I mean? I would put that one on the list because you could really delve into the early development of Drizzt, and I think the technology is there now that you could probably do it, but you would need like this massive special effects budget that you might not be able to do
Right.
realistically.
All right.
Like Piers Anthony. Have you ever read any Piers Anthony? Like that
I have
Xanth
read quite a
series?
lot.
Like the Xanth series
right.
that Xanth series would be pretty good because there's a parallel between Florida and the US, or the US and Xanth. So you could do
Yeah.
you could shoot in real Florida. Like there you go. There's your sets already. Like Florida exists. You just go down there and start filming Florida Man and whatnot, you know. That would be a good one, I think. And then I think the fantastical nature of Xanth, you could do that a lot better special effects because it's a magic world, right?
Right. Right.
And it's very character driven from a young person's perspective that he eventually grows old. He grows old, right?
Yeah, he does.
So you could span the test of time. You could do, if you really wanted to, you could do season 1, 2 where you're like early development, and then you could do a season 3 where he's now 200 years old or whatever, right? And then back into middle age,
At the risk.
like early middle age. Like you can jump around in the Xanth books. There's 1,000. I think how many of those books are there? 100 million?
Bazillion. He wrote those forever. At the
many
risk
are-
of,
How many are there altogether?
I want to say like 120, maybe all told. Might be less than that. They weren't super long.
No, it's like an even 50.
Oh, okay.
49. Sorry, with one extra book.
Without overdoing dragons, I think this would be a good time for Dragon Riders of Pern, the McCaffrey books.
Yeah, there's a lot of authors working on dragon books for some reason. I have no idea why.
Well, those were the start, really, I think, as far as pure dragons
What,
only goes.
what was the first book? A Spell for Chameleon, right? Yeah, Spell for Chameleon was the first book. Yeah, that's right. It has like the gargoyle, or what is that? What's that creature? The lion man?
Not the Shimra.
It's the
Yeah.
the chimera, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah. Yep.
Because
I
of his
think it is,
talent,
that kind of-
in this adventure, Bink is exiled to Mundania because he has inadvertently broken Xanth law by not having a magical talent. He returns to Xanth with Chameleon, a woman whose intelligence and beauty vary inversely depending on the time of the month. That's right, the menstrual cycle. Oh my God, when she was ovulating, like, what's up now? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? The menstrual cycle has kicked in. Yeah, yeah, not to mention like what you could do with that so diabolically, right? Like you could do that so well now, right? Like you get
What the hell
like,
was that?
who's a hot actress? Who's a hot young actress? I don't know. Who's the blondie booby lady? What's her name?
Margot Robbie? No.
No. She's not young.
Oh.
Margot
don't
Robbie
know.
is an adult. It's like a full-blown adult now.
For a young. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 'cause
I don't
she's
know
gotta
who
be-
you're talking about.
I don't know. Young actress. Here we go. The 25 hottest young actresses under 30.
Oh boy.
Let's find one here. Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega would be a good pick. Sydney Sweeney is the one I
Okay.
was thinking about, but she's too old now. She's
Oh.
28. She's 28.
Yeah.
Too old. Millie Bobby Brown, terrible pick.
Getting old.
Sadie Sink. Sadie Sink would be good. She's only 23. And she was in the she's the red-haired girl from Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
Anya Taylor-Joy. No, not good. Lily Rose Depp. Oh, I guess that's Johnny Depp's kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Born in Paris to Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis. Oh, okay. No, let's stay out of the that realm.
The nepotism.
The nepotism realm. Let's stay out of there.
The depotism room. Yes.
They put Hunter Schafer in here. That's bold.
Yeah.
That's a bold.
well,
That's a
she
bold
is
choice.
Considered quite the ingenue now.
Well, she's
It
not
is.
unattractive. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No, but I think the out of this list, you put Sadie Sink in there, right? She's wonderfully attractive, great actress. Has definitely grown into her amazing good looks and amazing attitude and shit. She would be a good choice for Chameleon because you could really dull her down, make her just look like a fucking hobo, and then slowly like gussy her up as the month goes on. Because the Chameleon character is really interesting. It's a really interesting character to be paired with Bink, the guy who has no magic from the magic realm, right? And I think that wasn't that Bink's whole thing is that he had no magic, right? Wasn't that his whole thing?
That was his whole thing.
Is that magic just couldn't fuck with him?
Yep. And that was his character's Pierce did great with the Xanth stuff, but as he got older, he went a bit off the rails.
Well, it
with
goes
some of
way like any long series like that. It goes way off the rails because you're one upping yourself. That's the problem. Is like because you got to think like if you look at so A Spell for Chameleon, The Source of Magic, Castle Rugna, Centaur Isle, The Nightmare, The Dragon on a Pedestal, The Cruel Lie, The Veil of the Vole, Heaven Sent, Man from Mundania, Isle of View, right? You're already like, so 19. It just those books goes from 1977 to 1991. Okay, to just put out those books. That itself is a 25-year period, right?
Right.
So that's a 25-year period. He's a different person 25 years later, right? And then people are like, you absolutely have to keep making these books because they've become popular. So he keeps like hammering them out, right? Now the problem is that like your wonderful ideas are waxing and waning. You know what I mean? And you're a completely different person. You're a completely different person to the person that wrote it in 1977, and you're trying to figure out like what the fuck is going on? Where is this story going? What's something that's new? What because at some point your main character Bink is a grandpa, right?
Right.
Yep. Like your grandpa, right? Like your main character is now a grandpa, and you have to somehow pick up the pieces and start writing a story about the grandkids, right? But all of the problems that the grandpa protagonist already solved are solved because your grandpa exists. You know what I mean? Where you'd be like,
right,
there's some shit going on. Well, go talk to Grandpa Bink. He knows about this stuff. Right? You know what I mean? And it's like, I went over and I talked to Grandpa Bink and he said, get this thing and put this thing and then take this thing over to this guy and it'll all be done. Okay. End of the book, after 14 paragraphs. You know what I mean? So I honestly have a lot of empathy for somebody that gets completely off the rails with their shit once to book 28, right? Like, why would this make any sense anymore? And by the way, the people that wrote it aren't the same person anymore. Like I said, one of my favorite authors that I follow is Jason Parajan. He posts daily on like TikTok and Instagram and shit. He talks about this all the time, that he's like, yeah, I wrote my first book and then 15 years later it got optioned for a second book, right? And then people complain to him that like the second book,
the same tone.
There's not the same tone, it's not the same this, it's not the same pacing, it's not the same anything. And he's like, yeah, because I'm a different person that wrote the second book. Like, if you want me to write the second book in exactly the same tone as the first book, I need to write it the moment I finish the first book. So I could at least be the same person, but he's like, yeah, a bunch of stuff has happened in my life and I'm different now. My perspective is different. My vocabulary is different. My understanding of the world is different. My energy levels are different. Like, everything has changed. So it's like, I get it with Piers Anthony. Like I said, I got way into that series. And at one point I was just like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on. This doesn't appeal to me anymore. And I think it's just because of that. It's just like, you're a completely different person is writing completely different books for a completely different audience. And that's fine. That's true. Like I said, now the early 15-10 book, whatever the fuck it is, are amazing. And it's just so well written and just an interesting concept. And it's obviously from the 70s, right? Like,
Very much so.
Like, the non-magic guy gets dropped off in our world, right? And it's like, well, why is he here? And it's like, well, the magic people kicked him out because he has no fucking magic. And it's like, oh, wait, so there is a parallel world? Yes, there's a parallel world where people are magic and there's magic flowers and chameleons and, all sorts of stuff, right? And it's like, and you also have to think, like, as a young man, like, you think of the concept of like the character chameleon, right? It's like, how could you possibly be married to a polygamy type situation, right? But without having to do that, because the chameleon character is incredibly intelligent and engaging and amazing, and he has a great time with her when she's in her ugly phase, because she's intelligent and smart. And she gets dumber and dumber as she gets more and more beautiful. And by the apex of her beauty, the only thing he can think about is having sex with her, and it's a bit too much, right? As a character. And you're like, that is a very interesting place for a young man to engage with literary content like that, right? That like, right. What is the thing that you really value? And the thing that you really value is the person underneath the lipstick and the push-up bra, right? Like this intelligent person that you have a great time with. But also that, you know, these especially dudes in the 70s, they were like free love and do all this. They were just getting past that. Yep. Nixon was cracking down on anyone having a boner. And freaking the fuck out about women's chastity and all this crazy nonsense. And that was a weird time, right? And I think that there's stuff like that in those books that are like really interesting that you could explore. And especially like with that book series, like I said, it has the connection to Mundania, which is our regular ass world here. And it does go back and forth from the two. So I think it definitely has legs, because of Stranger Things, right? They have got the parallel worlds and this, and there's stuff going on and intrigue, and they got the normal people dealing with the magic stuff. But it turns out that like the guy that's here is from the magic place, right? But he has no magic. And so he can't even prove to anybody that he's like from the magic place, because he was kicked out of the magic place because he has no fucking magic. Yeah, and it turns out that like his that's right. Like his immense power is that he was completely unaffected by magic, right? Wasn't that his whole thing? He was like basically magic immune, right? Yeah, because he went at the end and he talks to the like, what is it? The Chimera. It's like the character that turns you to stone, right? Right. When you look at when you look at them, that you get turned to stone, and he just walks up and is like, "Hey, what do you? I got a question for you." And the creature's just so flabbergasted that he's like unaffected by the stone stare, right? Which, by the way, is just Greek mythology. It's just Medusa, you know.
Medusa and all that. Yeah.
Somebody was asking me. Somebody was asking me earlier. Take your shirt off. You are so hot, please. I can't today. I'm sorry. I'm getting ready for butt surgery tomorrow, so I can't get my full swole on for you. Sorry.
You can show you his ass, but not his.
Of course, Roger's Aquarium was checking in. Is this live? Yeah. Which thank you, Roger. I appreciate it. That's always the best. That's a long-standing joke around here. People would show up and ask if it's live, and I would berate them and just be like, "What the fuck? What are we doing?"
That's funny. I think the incarnations of immortality.
We are on a hard out today. It's 4:00, and I got to go take all the stuff. The stuff. Yeah.
I wanna go back to my reality.